Welcome to this Virgo New Moon forecast. We're going to get into this forecast very deeply. I'm Deb Hotep, pro astrologer and therapeutic root cause life coach. So let's go into this chart for this. If you are new here, I have taken some time off of the last few moons. I did bi-monthly new moon and full moon updates with sun sign horoscopes for the last 2 years, I believe it is now. And I took the last 3 moons off. And so this is this Virgo new moon. This is happening September 2nd, 2024 on Monday at 8:55 p.m. So in the evening after it's turned dark, that's Central Time. So just for your time zone. So this Virgo new moon, a new moon is always a conjunction between the sun and the moon. It is often where there's blind spots. Conjunctions always have blind spots in them because planets, luminaries are so close together. So there's something that cannot be seen until the moon starts to move away from the sun. When you start to see that sliver of the moon finally, after the moon has been dark, that new moon, that's when things have settled. You've gotten some insights. You kind of know what it was all about. But as the moon's leading up into that new moon phase, it's coming into this balsamic phase. That balsamic phase is a challenge or difficulty. It's a death before a rebirth. And so there is the dark night of the soul, so to speak, but on a micro level of what's going on for us. This is important. This Virgo new moon. When we look at Virgo, the opposite polarity is Pisces. Virgo wants to create something that doesn't exist on Earth. Virgo, we often think of Virgo with perfectionism, but why? And it's because that opposite polarity, Pisces, is that kind of ultimacy. It has this ultimate grand higher vision. And so the Virgo side of it presents in that perfectionistic way, and the Pisces side of it presents in that kind of ultimate kind of way, the ultimacy, and like it has to be the ultimate. Well, I mean, does that really exist? How far can you go? You can only clean something so much. You can only make it new, but then it's going to get dirty. And so there's nothing that really exists that can be that pure for that long. And so Virgo's trying to create tangible reality, where Pisces is what infuses tangible reality. Pisces is the spirit, the invisible that is animating all of life. And Virgo is the tangible reality and trying to create tangible reality. Virgo is also about, humility. Virgo always has crisis in it. Why? Because we need crisis to create humiliation so that the ego can get humility. I really encourage you to never turn away from humiliation, never turn away from embarrassment. Face it, go dive head on into it, because that is how you will evolve as a soul at the highest levels, because you will grow deeper humility, empathy, compassion, and that's that Pisces side. And so Virgo inverts the Leo. We always want to look at the 12 signs within the whole. And let me pull this up real quick. I already did, but it went back down. Technology is so. Oh, I know why. Okay, gotcha. Let me do this. This is what it is. Okay, I'm going to share this screen with you and kind of show you something here. There we go. We always look at any sign within the whole 12 signs. Every star system has astrology. So the 12 signs, 12 zodiac sign astrology is our navigation system for here on Earth. This is our astrology for here on Earth. I put Pluto in the center of this because it's all about evolution, that life, we're taught that life is about achievement, having kids and raising a family and helping the world, or achievement and accomplishment, or something like that. Money, power, fame, all these things. But life is not merely, life is about evolution. And all those things are not merely, but exquisitely the vehicle for that evolution. And so life is actually about evolution. But evolution has this, Pisces dichotomy. Pisces is the two fish connected by a string, right? And so one fish is going one direction, one fish is going the other direction. One fish's desire to expand, experience something new, to grow, to change, to do something different. And the other fish is staying in what's known, what's comfortable, and staying in what it considers to be safe. We consider things safe, but really they're just the tried and true. That's all it is. The hell you know versus the hell you don't know. A lot of people would rather be in the hell they know. It's familiar, it's comfortable. I know what to do here. Like, I'm procrastinating. I'm not getting my big projects out. I'm not bringing my genius to the world and making more money as a woman. But you know what? This is familiar hell. That other hell of putting myself out there and facing insecurity and self-doubt and feeling vulnerable, that's a hell that a little too uncomfortable. I'm not going to do that. And we have to overcome that as women, as heart-centered entrepreneurs, to be a heart-centered millionaire, changing the landscape of this world to represent our values of heart-centered people. So we look at this Virgo. Well, Virgo's in between that Libra and that Leo. And so we always want to look at any sign within the 12 signs, because it informs us so much. That Leo looks at everything like, I am the person on top of everyone else. Leo will even look at like, oh, it's my duty to help all these people because they don't know what they're doing, and I have to help them. I have to, prepare the way. I have to do all the things. I'm raining the knowledge down upon the people. Like, Leo is very much very confident, very much like, I'm the person, it's up to me. On the one hand, we need every sign. We need this dichotomy. How can you ever put your gifts into the world and creatively self-actualize, Leo, if you don't think, if you're not confident in yourself, if you don't think you're here to bring a gift? But, the shadow side is thinking like, I'm raining the gold down upon the people. And the high conscious Leo is like, I'm bringing my gifts. I opposite is Aquarius. I have something that matches up with a need that the world has. I have gifts to bring, and they meet a social need, Aquarius. And so I need to be confident to go put my gifts out in the world and match up with all the people that like me, and hear it the way I can speak it and transmit it, and can get the help that I'm here to offer. Okay. So that's what's so important to understand, is any sign within the whole of the opposite perspective. And so the thing about why Virgo comes after Leo is because the sign after is always the antidote for the sign before. So you got Taurus, too fixed and stuck in his ways. And then here comes Gemini to say, let's go embrace all the experiences of life and have fun, and let's go explore and get curious. And yeah, let's go. Gemini is like ambulatory, wants to move and flow and go do a million things all at once and experience life and never stop. It's the fastest sign in the zodiac. It's speedy, buzzy energy. And it is the antidote to Taurus. Just like that Cancer is now like, let's go within. Okay, we were yanged out. We were all exploring the world. We are adventurous and curious, but let's go, make home very comfortable and a soft place to fall, and very nurturing and loving, and take care, do that good self-care, and feel our emotions, and make sure we have really good emotional security so that we can go do the yang Leo. And now we got Virgo. Virgo humiliates the ego of Leo to create humility so that it can serve, because that Virgo is about service, right? Being in service. So Virgo new moon, this new moon is hard. And let's look at why. Stop sharing and I'll share the chart with you. The reason why this new moon is going to be challenging, many reasons, but one of those reasons is that if you see this little collection of planets and asteroids here, we have Venus, the south nodes. You can always really correlate it to your wounds and what needs to change and heal, and our emotional lessons at any given time on the planet. And then the emotional lessons are those Libra lessons. And we're getting to that 6th degree mark. The nodes are going to change in January. And so they're going to change to that Pisces Virgo axis. So this new moon is really also you know, and Neptune and Saturn here is really also, or foreshadowing of this 18-month period of the nodes that are going to be in Virgo South Node and Pisces North Node, meaning we must do the North Node. The nodes being in Aries and Libra is also an ending. This is the ending of a cycle, 19-year cycle. And when we're ending cycles, we're having deaths and rebirths. And this is just going on in general constantly within the smaller cycles of the astrology and the bigger, grander cycles of the astrology. And so therefore the world, therefore our energies within ourselves, externally, everyone's feeling this. And so this collection here in Libra is all about power. It's all square Ceres, all about nourishment and what nourishes us, about fertility. And if the crops are not fertile, then they can't nourish us and we can't create crops. It's all a cycle. And we were taught a mechanistic worldview. We were taught a dead, that the universe, that the world isn't living like it is. The truth is that it's a living universe, a living world. We were taught that it's just mechanistic and that there's just electricity shooting through our brain, that there's no soul, there's nothing in here. We've been programmed with that since, since the 11th canon, is it the 11th? I'm not sure. I can't remember, but it was, it was when Saturn was in Pisces, or in Sag back in, like 869, when, there was a separation between the triad of spirit, soul, and the physical matter. And so the point is that everything's cyclical, everything's non-linear. You have the linear, but we have the non-linear has been dismissed, ignored, denied, repressed, suppressed, and really it's basically the overculture has acted like it doesn't exist. So then no one knows how to navigate the truth of it always being present. So we have all of these, we have this pushing of Jupiter, Mars, and Venus going really, really fast. So it's kind of like when you have musicians on stage and you have the bass player just playing this bass note. That's what you dance to. But the guitar player is all over the place, creative license, but the bass and the drums like keep and hold the beat. They hold, the fort down, and so we kind of have this feeling of the speediness, and then add to that Jupiter and Mars being in Gemini, and then add to that Venus being in Libra, and Libra is just kind of all over the place collecting data and more and more and more conversations and more people and doing more. It's an air sign and it never lands. It's just like this and this and this and this and this. And so you have all this air energy in the three planets that are very speedy. So you have this kind of back note to our lives right now, which is like, I need to go, I need to do something. I'm interested in 10 things at once. I got all this stuff I got to do. But yet the other planets are retrograde. The other planets are moving slow, and they are saying, let's go within, let's recalibrate to what really matters. Let's remember, let's unlearn the ways of the overculture that are not allowing us to take good care of ourselves, or not allowing us to commune with our own genius, commune with the world, the whole, the interconnectedness with the cosmos and ourselves within that whole. I just went out for the meteor shower and, stayed underneath the meteor shower, staring at the sky, communing with the planets and the constellations and stars in the sky between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. on the 11th and 12th, when that meteor shower was going on, and it was kind of at its height, and it was very, very magical. I don't live close to dark skies. I have to drive at least 40 minutes to even get a little bit of a dark sky where you can really see a lot of stars and planets, but really have to drive about like an hour 40 minutes to really get underneath like a truly dark sky. And so not having the sky over your head, seeing it every night, there's something where there's this disconnection that happens. There's this, lack of remembering or interconnectedness to the whole, the living universe, the wonder of it all. And so the planets all retrograde and slow are saying, even though we have kind of this pushing back note, we're that's kind of keeping us energized, keeping us passionate, but we're wanting to recalibrate, go within, take the time to put your bare feet in the grass, go for the walk. I just went for a walk in the sun to kind of get out of the house, and found a feather and just the divine communing with me, and just that beautiful magic that is everywhere for us to connect with. And so understanding how the energies are feeling to you right now, I think will really help you to navigate this time better. So there's power dynamics with Lilith, all about our empowerment and how we are demonized when we say no to the patriarchy, when we say no to being subjugated as women, when we say no to a lack of equality between men and women, or any sort of controlling, dominating bodies or individuals. And we're often demonized, lashed out at, attacked, put down, minimized, trivialized, ganged up on, any of those things, or we're often living a very solitary life. Often there's not people that are going to risk that same sort of experience to come join us. Obviously, that's changing more and more and more, and more people have awakened, and so many women are awakened around the world. That's what Light Goddess is all about. It's all the awakened women around the world shining our light, healing the inner bullshit, shadow, pain, loss, and challenge, and awakening, because it's a continual journey, never stop awakening, right? And then we have Venus, all about relationship, the relationship with self and relationship with other. It's in its home sign of Libra, but that Libra is the yang side of Venus. It's the external side of Venus. It's the air, thinky, out, yang quality, the masculine quality. It's that other, the relationship to other, whether it's just your florist or your banker, or whether it is the deep connections in your life, your colleagues and long-term friends and family. So it's that relationship, but it is exactly conjunct by degree Lilith about your own power. How do you give up your power? How do you stand in your power and have boundaries and deal with how it feels on the other side for the other person, either when you start and begin to do this, and that process, that journey of people feeling that change, and like, are you communicating directly with them, or are you just doing it? I know for me, I had to have a conversation with a friend to say, look, like I am full support of you changing and claiming your power finally. And however, I'm a person that really thrives on direct communication. If it's not direct communication, it feels like some sort of subtext or sub undercover bullshit going on. And so for me, while other people, they don't like direct communication, that feels confronting. And Libra has that underlining goal of harmony at all costs, but usually the cost is yourself. Usually the cost of harmony is yourself. And so Libra has to contend with this false drive for harmony. Harmony can come in so many ways. It's sort of like the perfectionism of Virgo in a way, right? Where we think there's this purity, like you clean something, but you have to turn around and clean it right away. There's dust, there's animal hair, there's whatever. I mean, something only stays clean for so long. And so if, that purity turns into OCD, so that harmony with Libra turns into, it's the extremes. It turns into the antithesis of harmony, because you don't feel at peace when you can't accept all the discordant cacophony, which is truly life. And here's the thing, right now, in these years that we're experiencing, we're going to have a greater cacophony of instruments. If you think of the world and the players, the people in the world as all the instruments playing, talking, having something to say, there's going to be a greater cacophony than there is going to be a melody. There's going to be melodies in little pockets around the world. There's going to be melodies playing in little pockets around the world, but overall there's going to be a bigger cacophony, because there's power dynamics, there's power shifting. The people that believe in power over models of society and culture, the narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, which is what patriarchy is, all of the people have superiority issues, which really comes from truly not being in the self-love. When you don't heal self-love, it turns into self aggrandizement. It turns into self-inflation. And so, it's like, why do people, they're not a full-on narcissist, and they do care, they do have some empathy, or they do have some drive for something good. They're not just like malicious, evil, dark people. But like, why do they think they're better than others? Why do they have a superiority issue? Because that confidence isn't real confidence. It's actually coming from not truly healing the self-hate they had for themselves. When we don't truly heal things, it turns into a perversion of what we're really seeking. So we're seeking to have confidence. Instead of confidence, we have superiority. So we have confidence in the culture masquerading as superiority. It's all the superlatives: best, better, greater than. Everybody's trained to try to be better than everyone else. There's all the people who think they really are better than everyone else. Underneath that is really just the self-hate that's never been healed. And those of us who are doing the internal work, which is deep work, which is facing all the shit, with the transformation on the other side, where we really have self-love, where we have true confidence, where we have true service. Virgo, in service, we can truly be in service to the world because we're coming from a healed whole place. We're coming from knowing that we don't know it all, coming from being open and tolerant, Libra, to all views and walks of life, except the abusers. But otherwise, yes, it's coming from a different place. And so going back to this, I mentioned superiority a lot, and it might be like, why this focus on this, right? And let me just move over to the screen real quick so I can share this with you. And the reason why is because superiority, there's an arrogance and condescension, there's a lack of empathy, there's a lack of inclusivity, there's a dismissiveness, there's power dynamics. That's what's wrong with porn, is that there's power imbalances. Women are subjugated. And those people that really unintelligently say, well, like, women are participating. No, women are brainwashed for 5,000 years of patriarchy to think that their only commodity, their only value is their body. Women's bodies have been commoditized. There's some deep healing that needs to be done for any of this to change. And any of those people saying those things are not intelligent, do not understand the deeper threads and systemic and institutional issues that support industries like porn. And so the superiority, like, it's insecurity masked as confidence. It's self-hate that's never been healed, masked as confidence. That superiority is entitlement, disregard for boundaries, refusal to acknowledge mistakes, constant need for validation. Not necessarily full-on narcissistic. I never use that word as an adjective, but narcissistic tendencies. And so, it doesn't feel very good to be on the other side of it. You could say there's a lack of safety to be in a conversation, to be in a dynamic with that person. But more than that, it's how can you have that creativity and that high creating something amazing? Say you're just collaborating with a friend in an interview or discussion that you're putting out to the world. How can you have just a genius flowing through both of you and back and forth and putting out this high consciousness, expanding, explosive, wonderful conversation when somebody's on the other side, superior, thinking they know it all? They can't give up the microphone. They want to be interviewed instead of a discussion. I don't know how many people I've interviewed for my show, Alchemical Initiations. And I told them, look, this is a discussion. I'll do a little bit of interview work at the beginning, maybe here and there throughout. I'll keep it going. But this is really meant to be a discussion on these topics that we've talked about ahead of time, to bring really consciousness expanding dialogue, conversation. They don't know how to do it because they have that superiority issue. They want it to be all about them. It's just this lack of cooperation. In the overculture, there's no cooperative way of life. And, it's fascinating is watching the show about these whales. And, I think it's called like Explorer or something. I wrote this down just so I can remember to tell y'all. It's called Ocean Explorers. And one of the shows is about these humpback whales. And it's called The Realm of the Humpbacks. And I didn't notice one woman on the team. So it's all men. So they're just surrounded by themselves with no other influences, no other views, perspectives. And we have to remember that Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is about our perspectives, our ideas, our communication. And so, you know, the lens they were seeing through, they were viewing these humpback whales during mating season, but they were only looking through this one lens, and they're calling it a fight club. These male whales are doing a fight club to get the female. It's so bizarre. It's like, they're never getting out of the paradigm. They're not getting out of that erroneous paradigm. What other millions of ways are there to look at these whales' behavior? And we have to understand that our whole world has been shaped by looking through that paradigm's lens. Science, math, politics, everything has been shaped by looking through this one patriarchal lens, this one dominator culture lens, this one power over dynamic lens. So how would we see the world? All of the beauty of the world that we are missing because we can't see through another lens, because we can't shift our paradigm. I don't know how many reels I see of men on reels saying, like, the women are taking the helm because men, you're not being men. And so it's like they're trying to say something good, sort of. They're trying to kind of evolve, but not really. They're still looking through the patriarchal lens. They're still looking through the dominator culture lens. That like, why isn't it cooperative? Why isn't it partner? Why isn't it egalitarian? They can't get out of this one way of viewing it. It's like, we got to shift the paradigm. So this new moon is ruled by Mercury. The dispositor is Mercury. Mercury is in Leo. And so we have this dynamic between Leo and Virgo really heavily, because the dispositor of Mercury is the sun in Virgo. And so it's just going back and forth, this Virgo, Leo. And so are we going to play out the signs within our own selves in a shadow or in a conscious way? And we like to turn off. We like to go unconscious. A lot of people in this world, just think about it, they spend every night, every weekend getting more and more unconscious, drinking, go out partying, escape, be with a bunch of people, party, escape, more marijuana. It's like, how much time do we spend getting unconscious, being unconscious? And how much time are we really being conscious? Because when you're conscious, you got to feel all the feelings: guilt, shame, regret, sadness, powerlessness, helplessness, hopelessness, existentialism, anger, rage. You have to be willing to feel all of those emotions. I know a lot of people who are narrating those emotions as darkness, when no, they're just negative emotions. And truly, emotions are just emotions. We have ones we see as negative and ones we see as positive, but we have the full spectrum of human emotions. We want to get really great at feeling the full spectrum of human emotions, because now we have empowerment. Now we have agency in our lives. And a lot of people are like, when they're experiencing sadness and all these so-called negative emotions, they think of it as darkness. Let's make the distinction between, our difficult to handle emotions that we need to get mastery with. We need to get just time in. We need to get time in with it, with a coach like me. That's what I do with my clients, my 6-month coaching program. My clients come to me to make 100K, 300K a year, bringing their genius to the world. But what we do to make that happen, a natural byproduct that happening, is to become emotionally empowered at the highest level. So all of my clients get that emotional empowerment, and we do my proprietary, very simple 3-step method: identify, feel, and release. Very simple. Most of us don't deal with our emotions because we don't know how to release them and not be under the gun of them. And so that was something so powerful about like years of my work developing my proprietary method, is because I was like, I just don't, I don't want to be under the duress of these different emotions, and they're controlling me and puppeting me around and making my life difficult in all these ways. But the thing is that I had to learn how to feel them to be able to then release them. And the feeling of them is what actually gave me all the magic and empowerment, because it helped me understand that my emotions were my dashboard. They were my navigation system. They were telling me all of these important messages that I didn't know how to retrieve from them, because I was never taught anything about emotions. And we have not been taught about emotions in this world. So emotional empowerment is your gateway to everything you want to accomplish. Everything external, you need to go internal and do the internal work. And so my clients all learn this very simple 3-step process, but would take a lifetime to master it though. And so we want to make the distinction between emotions and darkness. Darkness is rape, it's trafficking, it is domestic abuse and violence, it is, female genital mutilation, it is the homelessness and poverty in this very abundant world that should not exist. And I'm not saying there's not difficulties and challenge and pain and loss. That's the evolutionary journey. But this bullshit that some people espouse about like the world's perfect as it is, no, the world has been dark and depraved, particularly for the last 5,000 years. We are returning to the light once again. But all of you out there that are heart-centered entrepreneurs bringing your light, we have to go do it. We have to do it. Bring your light, bring your purpose, do your work in the world. Now, some of you get paralyzed by it feeling so big. I'm not saying start big, but I'm at that place now, but you don't want to start there. That can be overwhelming. That can be intimidating. Just start somewhere, anywhere, start in the perfect, beautiful place for you. Whether that's just putting a video out or getting a social media channel started or just starting to take clients or whatever it is, just starting to own your value. But, I'm in a different place in my life and in my business and so forth. I am here and I'm ready to help the world heal, to help to end as much depravity as I can in my lifetime. And so there's a lot of bullshit put out there about, the world's perfect as it is. No, it's dark. It's dark as fuck. And we heart-centered people need to do just what you feel called to do in the world. Just one little step at a time is all you need to do. Virgo is very good at putting the steps together. Sometimes it can get a little too bogged down by all the details and it needs that Pisces gestalt, the overview. But, Virgo's very good at getting shit done, getting shit accomplished. If you know a Virgo, they often do not ask for help and they need to. They need to remember the resource that others are and that partnership and cooperation. Because Virgo's about improvement and so about being at that A+ level. But people with Virgo heavy in their chart, I often tell them that, look, your C+ is most people's A+. Give yourself a break, chill out. Because, all of that self-criticism, that judgment and that real critical way of looking at everything, it's keeping you from shining even bigger. It really is. So real darkness is real darkness. It's the abuses in the world. It is the outrageous things happening in the world. I saw this great reel where it was showing like Hollywood red carpet, and then it was showing like homelessness in the streets and people, trying to scrounge something to eat and washing their plate with dirty water and not having water and shit. And it just kept showing the scenes back and forth. And it was saying, same world, same world, same world across the screen. It could have been done really well, but it's very provocative, real. And some people need this put in their face. Some people need a lot of humility. They need the humiliation to create the humility. Never turn down humiliation. I know it doesn't feel good. Believe me, I've had a lot of humiliation in my life, a lot. I mean, I, drove a car that was just beat to hell. I mean, it looked like everybody in their it looked like it was in a demolition derby. Talk about humility. It's not that having car, it's just everybody judging you and making assumptions and thinking everything. And also people thinking you're a bad driver when you're like the better driver, when you are the one that has avoided all of the other people trying to create accidents because they're not fucking paying attention. Dude, get the humility, go through the humiliation. I feel embarrassed all the time and it's hard, but I'll tell you, it has evolved my soul because I have humility for days. I so know how much I don't know. I so know how much growth, and also it's exciting. It gives me that wonderment of Jupiter to grow and expand and keep exploring. There's something to keep exploring. There's some way to keep improving. And the Virgo mechanism is about improving. We want to improve. And so if there's nothing to improve, if we're perfect, then what's the point? You might as well just kick it, bounce out of this life. Why be here? So consider these things. So there's that interplay between that Virgo and that Leo. And we really want to make this distinction between true darkness and just having negative emotions that maybe you're very unfamiliar with experiencing and don't know what the hell to do with them. That's where you can go sign up for a free discovery call for my 6-month coaching program. This is exactly what I help my clients with. For example, one of my clients had fibromyalgia. She healed her fibromyalgia by finally feeling her emotions. She's very emotionally empowered at the highest levels, and she will not allow herself to not feel her emotions because she knows she'll have a fibromyalgia flare up if she doesn't. And that's what, she has accomplished in my coaching program, along with lists and lists of other things. She values herself the highest level. She owns her no. She has boundaries. She was a huge people pleaser. My clients accomplish a lot. I had a client go from acute imposter syndrome to signing her first $1,200 client in 6 months. Really, really powerful things that my clients accomplish. Okay. So that's all at empoweredwomenrise.com. If you're interested in finally getting with a coach that can help you transform the things in your life that you've really been wanting to transform. So there's this back and forth going on. And we have our Virgo blind spots going on right now. And so we might get slammed with some embarrassment and humility. And I hope that I've helped you to be willing to move towards it. And I have this dovey that comes to my patio, and he's so amazing. I put food out just for him, but he's like not quite sure yet. So he keeps coming, and like he's looking all around. He's like, is this a trap? There's just too much food there. It must be a trap. And he still hasn't eaten out of it. And I'm just so happy when he comes, but I hope he finally will go grab his friends and come and eat. I'm like, dude, this is a gift. It's a gift. It's not a trap. I watch you and you get free food. This is the deal. I'm entertained and you're happy and fed. Okay, so these squares to Ceres, what's Ceres all about? Ceres is about, fertility. Ceres is about our crops and our food and agriculture. Ceres is about the mother, the nurturance. So where we have Ceres in our chart shows us where we got nurturance, how we got nurturance, if we did or not, how we feel nurtured when we do feel nurtured, and how to give it to ourselves. So we want to look for Ceres in our chart. What house and sign is it in your chart? It tells you a lot. It'll illuminate a lot when you look for that in your natal birth chart. If you want to book an astrology reading with me to go dive deep into your Ceres, we could talk about that for a whole hour, guarantee you. We can talk about your mama. Or anything that you're wanting to dig into, you can book an astrology reading with me at empoweredwomenrise.com. I have a sliding scale fee, y'all, but I do have my standard fee, but I also have a sliding scale fee. So that is available. But all these squares going down, 1 square, 2 square, 3 squares, you can see here that Venus and Lilith, 5 degrees conjunct by degree. 1 degree off from that south node, conjunct the south node. Then we have Juno. Juno is about relationships and partnerships and how we partner and if we do it well. And all of this is about our personal empowerment. Are we empowered? And the south node's about our wounds, all about our wounds. So this is kind of a volatile combination here, because Libra is about justice and fairness and equality, and if there is any, and about the power dynamics when there's not. And what are the power dynamics? There's 3 types of power: power over, power with, and power from within. And we are learning power from within. Aries North Node, y'all. Who are you? Aries. What are you becoming? Aries. What's your identity? Aries. What do you call yourself? Aries. What are you meant for? What's your purpose? Aries is the noble warrior. And so we are learning that so deeply. And so this is volatile, square, these are square. This is the closing square to Ceres. So this is a psychological closing square, meaning like we're wrapping things up, but there's a breakdown to breakthrough with this. There's everything looking crazy and don't know what the hell's going on, and people fighting and aggro. And there's so much aggro in the world, but it's a byproduct of people finally claiming their power and the backlash that they're getting from others who don't think they should be claiming their power because they're in the dominator paradigm. And so we're in a challenging span of years here, y'all. But you can't let somebody's rebuking of you standing in your power make you think that you've done something wrong and make you shrink back. Don't shrink back. And you don't have to be compassionate to everybody. There's some mofos I'm not compassionate with. That's not what they need. They need me standing in my power, knowing that they're not going to dominate me. That no, what their abusive behavior is not the fuck okay. They might have everybody and their mama co-signing their narrative that they're doing right or didn't do anything wrong. I'm not gonna participate in that. I will stand my ground. In Lilith, the face of being demonized, being called the problem, being all the things. I've done it for a lifetime and lifetimes. I'm not backing down. I've never backed down. I won't back down now. It doesn't mean it's not really hard. It is very hard. So our relationships, our power dynamics, our equality, justice, fairness in relationship to nurturance and how nurtured and loved we are. Remember, it's an inside job. We got to get it from within. And Capricorn, the opposite is Cancer, all about those very soft, tender places within us. And Capricorn is the fertile void. It's the fallow field in the wintertime where all of the soil gathers all the nitrogen and the nutrients so that it can have a very bountiful crop coming in the spring and summer. So Capricorn's a very important time, but it's very perverted in our culture. And so we want to understand this. So this is going down, y'all. What else is really important? Something important to understand. We have Jupiter here in Gemini for a year. And we've already had that Mars-Jupiter conjunction that was super hardcore, lots of aggro in the world, but it doesn't have to be. But Mars is focus. So it's like, what's your fuel for your focus? If your fuel is wounds, then there's going to be aggro and problems and power dynamics and all that crap. But if your focus is inspiration, if your fuel for your focus is inspiration and wonder, Jupiter, then wow, that can be expansive and explosive and beautiful, and you can make art. You know, that Leo is really about self-actualization, creative self-actualization. So that Mercury and Leo, we can capitalize on this to have fun and playfulness. But the Leo spectrum, as the closer it gets to Regulus, the more it gets that kind of like, it could be dignity or it could be like, feed me grapes. I'm the king, you're dawn something upon me. So we got to be careful with all the signs, their shadow and their light ways of expressing, and we can get to choose. We live in an oppositional universe. We're never going to get rid of duality. Pisces is the ability to hold two disparate things at once. So this Virgo and Virgo heavy people have to remember that being able to hold disparate things at once. Both things coexist in this crazy ass world. Like, we live in an oppositional universe. We're never going to get rid of duality. Some people are so hell bent on getting rid of polarity and duality. Why try to spend your time getting rid of something that you're never going to get rid of? But why not, instead of doing duality and polarity with separation, can we do it with unity? But can we do unity through diversity? These are complex things. These are complex things to get your mind around. How do I actually act this out in my life when I'm presented with a nasty fuck in front of me? These are all things we're navigating. So what I wanted to bring up about Jupiter is that Gemini is about the mind. Gemini is our thoughts. It's what we think. So Jupiter expands anything it touches. And so Jupiter and Gemini, for this year that we're going through, any volatile thing going on in the energies, everything we think about that, Jupiter expands all of our thoughts. So if we're already believing our dumbass thoughts, this person treated me bad, which may be true, but like Jupiter is going to expand that to the nth degree. And so now it becomes this giant drama. And then we have Mercury and Leo. Leo dramatizes everything and makes it bigger. It's very aggrandizing, right? Whatever it is, it's melodrama, So we have these forces in our world right now really expanding things for the negative or for the positive. So you can take all your thoughts and really be thinking deliberately, conscious, really helpful thoughts. And I'm telling you, I do my daily thought work and I look at my thoughts on paper. I do it in my head too, but I do it on paper every day to say, like, what dumbass thoughts today is my mind offering me? And I'm going to put them down on paper. And I'm going to see if I'm going to continue to let my brain think this thought, because Jupiter is going to expand whatever you're thinking right now. And so any situation that's happening, it's going to feel to the nth degree. It's going to feel more intense because Jupiter's that intensity. And so it's in the sign of the mind and our thoughts. It's going to exacerbate our thoughts. It's going to make our thoughts hyperbolic, overdramatic, extra, extra, extra. So consider that with everything, like for the next year. Consider that with everything. So if you are not managing your mind, meaning you questioning what you think about any given topic and asking, is this thought serving me or not serving me? Is this thought getting me the results I want or results I don't want? You know, fights with people or disconnection or not making money, or is it getting me making money and connection and putting my boundaries in place and holding to them in the face of difficulty and people's admonishments? So Jupiter's going to expand whatever we think, and that's a huge player. It's a huge thing, acting force in our world right now. And trying to see if there's any other important things I wanted to share with you. Retrograde planets are realigning us with the feminine, circular, cyclical nature of life. The seasons, the in and out breath, the in and, you know, the in and out of the tide, the moon going through its cycles, the sun, all of the planets moving through the signs, however slow or fast they do it. And so all of these retrograding planets are working to give us pause, give us time to gather within, give us time to gather our thoughts, to feel our emotions and heal, to do the work and the efforts. You know, Saturn's forward and we're like, all the efforts, the plans, we're putting in place, the strategies, we're doing it, structures, all of that. But now we have to just carry it out. There is just the like doing it every day, the habit and carrying it out and sticking to the decision, because a decision is not when you decide, the decision is when you follow through. That's a decision. When you follow through on something that you chose to do, now you have done a decision. You've completed the process of a decision. So a decision, like anybody can just make a decision, but like, did you follow through on it? And following through is challenging. It challenges us. It brings up all of our inner stuff that we have to work through, where we have to evolve and grow to accomplish and follow through and accomplish that thing. And that's why accomplishment is Capricorn. Saturn rules Capricorn. And so this retrograde is giving us this opportunity. With Mercury, the dispositor or ruler of this new moon, trine Chiron and Erisina about feminine empowerment and sisterhood, about being outside the status quo and the mainstream bullshit, and about understanding that, okay, revenge for a little while, but ultimately it doesn't end up working. You know, it doesn't end up being the true answer. But we might have to go through that journey just to even come to and recognize that. But we need to come to at some point. And Chiron being the wound and the hole maker, the same thing that is your wound is also your hole maker. But how do you do that? That's what I help people with in coaching. We use their astrology to understand the deep wounds, that possibly lifetimes, and to heal them completely. And so, you know, with that trine, we could have this real help to think about it in a way that's helpful, to be able to unpack things, to move through them and heal them. But also it could just be us avoiding it. But we're not really having a huge challenge with it. We do have the square to Pluto, and Pluto has moved to that 29-degree mark at the time of this, you know, new moon, September 2nd, Monday. So we finally have, and we had that second Capricorn full moon at that 29-degree mark. We've had a lot of things hit that 29-degree mark. So we just had this hot spot here. We have this real hot spot. And so we are shoring things up. This is the end of a great big 15-year cycle. We are shoring things up. We are completing and ending things and understanding things. This is the last time that Pluto is going back into Capricorn before it goes into Aquarius for 20 years. 20 years. So really important things. Uranus being retrograde, it's giving us a breath to realign with the non-linearness of life, to circle back around, to clean up, to get clear, to just have time and space to be, to dream, to think, to think really well, to think deliberately, consciously, to wake up instead of being a slumber in our autopilots and our maladaptive responses and our coping mechanisms, and to really claim our life and claim the adventure of our life and be on the adventure of it all. Virgo season I tend to really love because it's the fall in the US and Northern Hemisphere, and it's this there's always this like dust up of energy. I always feel like, even though all the plants have, it's the harvest season, so we're harvesting all the food that then back in the day we would can or we would freeze so that we'd have food all winter long. So there is that whole activity and bustle, but now that we don't do that really, there's just still this energy. And so even though the plants are going to be dying off and going into dormancy for the winter, there's this energy though about the fall and the autumn, and the early part of the fall and the autumn. And there's a new life, a new beginning, and we're having a season change, and so much has gone down. And during the summer we had 5 planets out of bounds. It's been a wonky, weird, all over the place summer. And I don't think anybody can really deny that. One last thing I really want to bring forward here before we go is that a lot of people are really focused on the election, the political presidential election. I really want to bring your focus to something else. So a lot of people think that's the height of their empowerment, is to be able to vote in the presidential election. We need to vote. All the people not voting is why the world keeps being the way it is. But I don't want to like lend even more people to that futility vibe and to not vote. But I don't think the president has as much string pulling ability as it appears. I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes, but I want to really show you and remind you that your true empowerment is being an entrepreneur, your voice, being a creative, putting your work out in the world, helping change lives, helping people wake up, helping people expand, shift perspectives, come from the heart, reminding people of the heart, helping people get on those higher frequencies, those higher vibes, opening up, expanding ideas, getting out of boxes, getting out of the old paradigms that are keeping us stuck. And these, power over dynamics. And we have so much empowerment that we're not grabbing a hold of. And people think like the height of their empowerment is to vote. Yes, vote, and please vote for Kennedy. Like, I'm sorry, but Kamala Harris has a huge superiority. Waltz might be like really for the LGBT, QT movement and really important. And also though, like we need somebody that really gets it. And I think Kennedy really, really, really gets it. And I really hope, I don't think a lot of people even know he's out there. And so I really am just encouraging you, at least consider it, give it a look, give it a little look-see, please. But regardless of who you vote for, get out there and vote. But the height of your empowerment is actually in feeling your emotions, doing your own healing internal work, making money as a woman, and then using that money to stop doing performative philanthropy bullshit, putting a few, charities on your website and calling it good, but actually doing boots on the ground help to people in need somewhere in this world, whether you're, caring about the trafficking issues or the homelessness issues or, any millions of things that need our help and our attention. We really need to change this world, boots on the ground. I really hope women start helping women, because women are really the hinge pin. Women give back to the community 89%, where men 35%. Something very stark about that. We are the hinge pin. We need heart-centered millionaires abounding, changing this world. When you make millions of dollars as a woman, you can develop land. You can make the shopping centers in a city and have them be women owned, and have them be eco-conscious, and have them have your value system, have them pay their employees fair wages. You can choose the businesses that go into that shopping center. You can build them in a way where it retains the habitats of the animals in that area, and somehow, helps the ecosystem instead of being like a drain and a taking away of land from animals and all of that. We can build our world in a way that fits into the ecology and helps and supports clean air and water and land and animals and life. Or we can continue to do the opposite. When you have money as a woman, you make millions of dollars, instead of billboards objectifying women's bodies to sell Rolexes and cars, there could be billboards putting our values forward of a heart-centered millionaires, heart-centered people in this world, creativity and love and cooperation and partnership and expansion and ideas and exploration and wonder, joy, and passion, verve for life, love for life. So be a heart-centered woman, female millionaire. Bottom line. I'm pushing that idea. Do what's in your heart. Do what's right for you always. Listen to your intuition always. These vibes are mine. They don't fool me. It's one of my quotes, because your vibes are telling you everything you need to know. And remember, Virgo, it's just one step at a time, one step at a time. There's so much more I could go into in this forecast. But I think this is a good place to end it. Sending you lots of love. I'll be here for more. I know I haven't been here for the moon videos. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the bell so you'll be notified when the bi-monthly full moon and new moon videos come out with the sun sign horoscopes. That helps support the channel and helps me be able to bring these videos to you. I haven't been here for a little while. I've been going through some life changes and events, and just needed time to move through that process and rest and take great care of myself. So I hope to come back with sun sign horoscope soon. I am retooling a lot of things. There's a lot of new things coming for Light Goddess. You can follow me on TikTok. I'm there nearly every day doing astrology, doing coaching. You can follow me on the Light Goddess podcast. There's no new episodes right now, but there's 500 episodes that are really great value for you. It will help you be a heart-centered female entrepreneur. And listen to your heart and feel your emotions, etc. So, but there's going to be a 2.0 release of the podcast in the near future. There's a lot coming down the pipe, and I'm really excited for things. Definitely like, share, subscribe. That really helps this channel. Please share this with other women that that love astrology. Please share this with other women that want to heal, or that are having a challenge in their life, or dealing with some emotional issues. Please share this with other heart-centered female entrepreneurs. I'm always looking out there too to see what female entrepreneurs I want to collab with, to do interviews with and discussions. So that's coming up. I just don't want to do the sun sign horoscopes this week. I know a lot of you are here just for that. I really want to attract the people to this channel that love astrology, that love my take on it. I teach it really differently. I teach it that astrology. You might not know the astrological language, but you do know astrology in your heart. You feel the energies, and I'm just here to connect you to it, to connect you to what you should have learned from kindergarten on. To astrology is just our navigation system for living here on Earth. So some people teach it like they're the end all be all. They know everything. They're the one dawning, the stuff on you, and they just talk to hear their own self speak. I'm your bridge to help you know that you know this stuff, and to help just be that guidepost and that way shower. And let's use astrology to navigate our lives, to accomplish our goals, and to help this world, to bring the light, the return of the light, to help end depravity, to help more women reclaim our prosperity as women. So heart-centered people, let's take back this world. Make sure you vote, but remember how much more empowerment you actually have than just voting in any given election. Okay, there's so much more power you have. Your voice, putting up boundaries. Women leave so much empowerment on the tables because they don't put up the boundaries. They don't own their no. They always are going around saying, I don't know, instead of asking their brain to come up with creative answers and solutions. And your brain will not do that if you haven't felt your emotions, because your emotions will block your creativity. I ask my brain a question and it just answers it. Like, oh, where did I leave this? Bam. All of a sudden it comes right in my brain and I remember. Like, we have to remember how powerful we are and start to use the power that we have within us to accomplish our goals. I teach all my clients this. So sending you so much love. If you're interested in working with me in coaching or an astrology reading, go to empoweredwomenrise.com, links below this video, and please share this, and I'll see you next time. Lots of love to you all.